Okay. So welcome everybody to the mixed 40 and over section championship captains meeting. We appreciate you guys all being on and being ready for this weekend. Thank you so much for being captains and organizing your teams and keeping everything together. We could not do it without you. I'd also like to say thank you to the staff. You guys are fantastic keeping everything going too, and couldn't do it without you guys either. So like I said before, this is pretty laid back. I'm going to throw up a PowerPoint presentation, but feel free to ask. I'm not sure I'll be able to see the chat, so um, somebody will come off, somebody will, Laura or Charlie or somebody will grab it. Or you can just come off mute and you can just talk that way to us.
Yeah,
So,
actually, I probably even have a question to start with. This is Mark Aaron from Guilford Racket Club. I understand that our flight has been reduced from four teams to three.
we
Um,
do have
and
go ahead, Mark, go ahead.
yeah, so I guess I just wanted to confirm that or what the schedule is going to be. Given that.
So we're working out a couple of details. I'm trying to have schedules out tonight or very early in the morning. So once the schedule has been set, when we have teams pull out, we try not to alter it as much as possible because we know that you've already made plans, but we also want to try to make it make sense. So give me a little bit of time and we'll get information to everybody out who's going to be affected.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But to confirm, it's there is no wild card on our flight.
Um, are you
This is
which
for
flight are you in?
yeah, flight two. With this is 60 40 and over.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, you guys will be a 3-team flight.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
we'll get the finalized schedule out to you really soon.
Yep. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. We are going to present. Mhm. Okay, so let's do this. All right. So this is the 40 and over mixed section championship. So I always like to throw in the national championship schedule so you guys have it. It is compressed this year into 4 weeks, which is a new thing for national. So please make sure that you're aware of when and where. The mixed 40s are almost in the very bottom section. So the mixed 40s, 6-0s and 8-0s will play nationals November 8th, 9th, and 10th in San Diego. And the 7-0s and 9-0s play the same weekend in Orlando, Florida. When you get the PDF version of this slideshow, there where it says 2024 National Championship Calendar in the bottom left is a hyperlink into this calendar. So if you don't have it, you can just pop on when you get this. So we are playing this weekend or this coming weekend at Bass River, Winchester, and Woburn Tennis Club. There is a hyperlink that has all of the addresses to the clubs in your important documents, so you'll be able to find it. If you have any questions about where those clubs are, you can ask your local league coordinator. You can reach out through the championship email box. We like to make sure everybody knows where they're going and where things are. All of the clubs have really good parking, plenty of parking, so you don't have to worry about that. And you should be good to go. So for us, for communication during the championship, if something comes up, if we need to get a hold of you, we will call you, we will text you, or we will talk to you in person. So please, when you check in the first time, confirm your cell phone number with your site directors. We have it on the roster sheets, but sometimes the phone number that we have from Tennis Link may not be the number that is the easiest to get a hold of you. So if you'll just confirm that. If for some reason you are unable to be at the championship and somebody is going to be an acting captain for you, please remind them to tell your site director that same thing. And that way we just know who to talk to, who to sign scorecards, who to text if we need to get a hold of. The more communication between us, the better. And then we have tons of information on the Captain's Hub, and there's a link on the last page. So does anybody have any questions about communication pieces during the championship? Your site directors and staff are there to help you. So make sure that you ask them questions, talk to them, keep them company, those kind of things. All right. So what to expect when you first check in. So this is before your first match, not before the first match of the day, unless you have the first match of the day, but before your first match. Please check in 45 minutes early. You come up to the desk. Your players don't need to come up, just you or your acting captain. It gives us time to go over any questions, check your phone number, give you your lineup cards and your player gifts, and then you still have a few minutes to get your lineup written down and turned back in the 30-minute time frame. So you don't need to be in before 45 minutes before any of the other matches, but before the first one, please come in 45 minutes early. Before all the other matches, we need you to turn your lineup in 30 minutes prior to your scheduled match with everybody ready to go. It helps keep us on time. What we have to do when we get lineup cards, we have to check the rosters to make sure all the players are eligible. We have to make sure that the combination NTRPs are an eligible match. And that takes us a few minutes. So if we can get those lineup cards in 30 minutes early, it helps give us time and keep everything running on time as well. And ask the tournament staff any questions that you have as you come up anytime. When it is time to play, we do like all your players there ready to go 30 minutes prior. Your players will need to provide a government-issued ID prior to playing. We just need something that has their picture and their name on it. Driver's license, ID, passport, something so that we know that who you list on your card is who is going to play. When you write your lineups, and your tournament staff will remind you of this, also write their name as it is in Tennis Link. So, and sometimes that might not match their driver's license, and you can just tell your staff that. But if it's Robert in Tennis Link, please don't put Bob on your lineup cards. It helps us match up the names as they are in Tennis Link if they're written exactly as they are registered and with their membership. When everybody's on court, remember these are unofficiated matches. Everybody needs to be a good sport. Please remind your players, this is recreational tennis and this is fun. Keep telling them this is fun. It gets a little crazy, but this is fun. We'll give everybody a 10-minute warm-up. That does include serves. So they will use from the time that they get called, they go out on the court, they'll get their 10 minutes. There's no coaching of any kind. So no banging on the windows upstairs, telling your players what to do, them signaling to you. There's no coaching of any kind. If any of your players need water or they have a dispute, they need assistance in any way, they should leave their racket on the court and come to the tournament desk. That way we know, number one, you're not done, you're coming back, and we can help you guys, whether it's line calls, whether it's a score, whether it has to do with just some kind of a procedure. If there's Coleman tiebreak issues, we can help out with all of those things. But if they go to the next court or they come to you instead of coming to the tournament desk, we don't know if there's coaching or not. So we kind of have to assume there is. So tell your players any dispute that takes more than 30 or 45 seconds to handle, they just need to come talk to us. Come up and talk to us. All right, more match information. So when they're done, please, number one, a player from each team needs to come and report the scores. They need to bring the balls back because we need somebody to tell us what the scores are. And then we need a player from each team to confirm what those scores are, initial by their name. That way, when you guys as captains come up to sign the final scorecard, you know that your players have okayed what those scores are. And you guys are the final line of approval for all the scores before we enter them in Tennis Link. but they can't hang out on the court. They can't stand there and watch other matches. They need to come up, report scores, turn the used balls in, and then keep the matches going. We'll keep the matches going. Um, and then you guys, like I said, as captains, you'll come up when the all three matches are done. Check all of the scores. If you need to check with your players, you can. We can't. We typically do not put scores into Tennis Link until we have both captains' signatures. But after 30 minutes, that is voided, and we will put them in and assume that there was an agreement. So please don't leave. Turn your. Please come sign your scorecards. Okay, so for the match format, and please note that this could be different than your local area format. These are untimed matches. So you guys are playing until it's done. So there's no match ending rules. It is play it out. Everybody's playing a round robin format to begin with. If you have multiple flights, then there will be a head to head for quarter, semi, and finals matches where necessary. If you have questions about any of that with the schedule, please let us know. We did put the match times in for the semis, quarters, and finals on your schedules. Everybody plays 2 out of 3 sets, regular scoring, so with add scoring. If you split sets, it is a 10-point Komen tiebreak in lieu of the third set. If it gets to be 6 all in either set, it's a 7-point Komen tiebreak to play as a tiebreaker. I do have a document in your important documents link that does have how to play a Komen tiebreak. So if your players need to print that out, put it in their bag, and just keep it with them as a reference, they are more than welcome to do that. You switch on the odd games, including the first game. The first game, there is no rest. It could be warm. So if they need to grab a drink, that's fine. But they need to grab a drink and go to the other side, not grab a drink, sit down, tie all their shoes, hang out. It's on the first game, it is really a no rest situation. Um, and then 90 seconds on the odd games when you on the regular odd games switches. Okay, so I'm going to kind of pause there. Does anybody have any questions about match format, what to expect, anything you need from us? Okay. Um, all right, so this is a no default championship, which means that we expect everybody to fill all 3 lines for every match. We do understand sometimes somebody gets hurt, there's a family emergency. If that happens, you would default line 3, and that line would be defaulted throughout the championship, including if you had already played a match, those matches would get reversed. It's when we have a round robin, it keeps the mathematical advantage at it keeps everything mathematically even when there's a single line default. So far, so good. We haven't had people, but if you've got people that could help, if you do have somebody that gets injured, have some backups, maybe have a player or two if you've got them that could kind of be on standby. Sometimes you just don't know what's going to happen throughout a whole weekend. So, but no defaults going into the championship. All right. I always throw this one in. We've been doing this for a couple of years now. We do have a national suspension point system. So the site directors and tournament directors on site do act as officials when it comes to code violations. These are unofficiated matches, but if there is an incident on court or something that is egregious, they can act as official and give code violations and suspension points on site. Those suspension points, 10 or more is a 3-month suspension, up to 24 is a full year. Those are national. So if you happen to get a suspension or suspension points and then you want to go play in Florida, those follow you. So just know that this is a national system now and that it carries. Any grievances upheld can result in national suspension points, and there is a link. I'll get you to the external documents for this information. But we're going to have all fantastic sportsmanship, and this is not going to be a problem at all. Even though Charlie likes to scare people, but that's okay. We'll give Charlie all the suspension points. Okay, so this is a very gray area. I always try to emphasize how gray the area is on medical timeouts. And the reason I say that is that medical timeouts were created by a system where there were officials on court and where they have athletic trainers or medical staff on site. So officially, if there's a medical timeout, a person has 3 minutes from the time a medical official actually starts treatment. So they can assess for 10 minutes. And then the second they start an ice pack or whatever it happens to be, there's a 3-minute rule. None of us are medical people. So we are not going to administer anything. What we are going to do if there's an injury is come down, see what's going on, see how everybody is. And from the time we get down there and talk to the player, then we'll start a 3-minute clock and they have 3 minutes to decide whether they're going to retire or continue. If you're on court 10 in the other building at Winchester, it's going to take us a hot minute to get out there. So that's why I say this is a very gray area. We do our best. We want to keep things running on time. We want to keep it, but we also want to be aware that, sometimes people get hurt and we are not 18 anymore, most of us. None of us in this category. If there's a bleeding timeout for some reason and we have to clean up blood, it'll take a little longer. So technically, it's a total of 15 minutes for evaluation and treatment. We tend to keep it under that as much as possible, but cut your site directors a little slack since we're not the medical folks and we want to make sure everybody's safe out there. All right, a few FAQs. So no courts will be available for practice before or during the championship. On Friday, we consider 1 hour before match time championship. So for the places that start later, if you want to show up at 6 o'clock in the morning, if our league staff and championship staff are not there, I'm not monitoring it. But when we get there an hour before to set up, then we're going to monitor it. So that's kind of again, a little bit of a gray area. We've always said no practice courts at all, even on Friday. But sometimes if we start at Friday at 6:30, well, what if somebody wants to practice at 10 in the morning? I'm not going to stop them. So just know that we consider the championship starting 1 hour before the first match, and anything before that, we are not going to monitor. Saturday, we start at 8 at all the locations, so there's nothing on Saturday, and then Sunday we're at Winchester, so nothing before at Winchester. The bathrooms and the showers are open and available, so you guys, if somebody needs to shower, they can. Most of the places do have water that you can buy, and they have water fountains if you need them. But please bring water and snacks. You're welcome to bring coolers. You're welcome to bring ice. You're welcome to kind of make a big picnic inside any of the clubs and have plenty of stuff for the players. We do ask that you only have clear liquids on the court so that if something gets spilled, it doesn't stain the court. Carry in, carry out. If your players have snacks or need food, please have them take their trash with them so that we're not leaving trash on the courts. I also want to put a little plug in for the weather. It does look like the remnants of the hurricane will be up this way Thursday, Friday, maybe Saturday, kind of depending on which model you look at. So please keep in mind, check the weather. We are indoors, obviously, so we don't have to worry about that. But travel, roads flooding, please kind of keep track of that as you go and maybe add a little extra time to your travel time just in case. So that's kind of it for me on this part. Does anybody have any questions about anything? No? Okay. So you guys will get this also. These are important links. There's a captain's Facebook page you can pop on, and we try to keep some things on there. The important documents has the schedules. So this is a live link. So anytime there's a change, this link will have the most updated information that we have. So sometimes there's a little bit of a lag from when the schedule changes to us getting it uploaded into Tennis Link. So that go by your schedule that's on this link before, if there's a difference. You can always ask us to. It does have a copy of the national regs, the section regs, There's a championship event guide. Thank you, Laura, for that. And the Coleman tiebreak information, that's all in there too, so that you have access to that at your fingertips. We have an online store if you want any captain's gifts or section. We do have some championship. There's a championships tab if you want a championship t-shirt. Those things you can all go on to the online store and buy. And 10% of all of the proceeds go to the New England Tennis and Education Foundation. So, you're doing a good thing by buying things from the online store because it helps our other programs. And then the USTA New England Captain and Player Hub, it does have a championship section. It also has everything you need to know about any of the leagues, any of the local areas, any of the regulations, the grievance process, all the things are on that. And we all know that the USTA website can be a little difficult to navigate. So this Captain and Player Hub, we have made it much easier to find information and access it so that you don't have to go searching all over the place for everything. All right. And that is it for me. So did I cover everything? Is there anything we missed? Okay. Well, I'm going to stop the recording then.